with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Gas pipelines are the arteries for powering electricity. When the artery is burst, then the entire system collapses. Vandalizing gas pipelines is a criminal offense against the Nigerian people. Let us join hands and protect our gas pipelines from the enemies of Nigeria. Report any suspected vandal to the security operatives. Let us stop vandals before they destroy our collective national heritage, so we can have the Nigeria of our dreams, where there will be light at all times. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
The finals of the Men and Women African Cup of Nations. It's always frenetic. On days such as this, there are no tribes, no religion. Here, Nigerian warriors are out to represent, to show the skills that makes us the best. On days like this, the color is one. The color is green. When we get the job done, it is because we have stuck together. When we celebrate, we stand together. Nigerians, united in victory. We are Nigerians.
Hello and a warm welcome. The Buhari administration is on top of the numerous challenges facing the nation. That's what the government emphasizes as it takes on the task of repositioning the economy. This Wednesday brings a reaffirmation from the Asarok as the federal cabinet sat down to address food shortages and an agricultural revolution. Also tonight, the petroleum industry bill will eventually become law. The government will ensure its passage. We have it on authority. On the security front, operatives have swung into action to bring the killers of paramount ruler of Bokos to book, just as the Sultan of Sokoto commiserates with Plateau people. Tonight's program also brings you up to speed on the governing APC's political moves in Edo, and PDP chieftain warns against what is described as ill-advised adventure in the National Assembly. Want to know what it's all about? Then stay on News Extra with me, Aisha Bello Mustafa. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. The Federal Executive Council says it is neither unmindful of nor unperturbed by the hardship being faced by families as a result of severe shortages of food, assuring the people that their worries will soon be over. Consequently, the Council has approved what it calls the Green Alternative as the nation's roadmap for agricultural revolution in furtherance of its quest for economic diversification. Here is our State House correspondent Adamu Sambo with that report.
With President Muhammadu Buhari presiding, the Federal Executive Council deliberated extensively on the Green Alternative document, which outlines the nation's policies and objectives towards achieving food sufficiency as well as becoming a major exporter of agricultural products in the coming years. Minister of Agriculture, Chief Audu Ogbe, who briefed the council, urged Nigerians to be patient and cooperative, saying the Green Alternative is the key to the nation's quest for food security.
We are fully aware that there is a major concern in the country for food self-sufficiency, and that there is crisis in many families and a severe shortage of food. But where we're going, we believe in a short while, another year and a half at the maximum, we should be reasonably self-sufficient in grains like rice, maize, beans. We may not have achieved everything in wheat, but we'll be very close to our targets.
The Minister of Agriculture used the forum to give highlights on the steps taken so far towards ensuring improved security situation in the agricultural sector.
Many more farmers are coming in, including foreign investors. We have to take measures to make sure that people who invest are protected. Because the farmer has no right to go and buy an AK-47 and try to protect himself. But the Civil Defense Corps are legitimately authorized to carry weapons, and we shall use them.
The federal government, Chief Aduowe said, is also not relenting towards finding lasting solutions to the crisis between farmers and herdsmen through what he called paddock development initiative by the Buhari administration.
That we shall move most of our cows into ranches or reserves. They'll be given the best grass for cattle. Most of this grass containing 18% protein, the right amino acids, vitamins and so on. So the cows can feed well, have good water to drink, and give us the best milk and beef. That is what is done everywhere else in the world. I know there are people who say that cattle rearing and grazing is a culture. It is not. It's a necessity. The moment you have a place where good grass is grown and there's water, the Fulani herdsman has no business roaming. We are also saying to other Nigerians, you don't have to be a Fulani man to keep cattle. Just make sure you control their movement and feed them well. And if you want these grasses, we'll give you. And the grasses are so good, we even have requests from Saudi Arabia that if we can grow good grass, they will buy grass to feed their cows. So the grass business is not as stupid as people made it look.
Also at Wednesday's meeting, the Federal Executive Council approved a request by the Kaduna State government on the redesignation of the 18-kilometer Namdi Azikiwe Expressway and the 19-kilometer Ahmadu Bello Way belonging to the federal government as state roads.
So that they will have the power without any inhibition to work on the roads to make them better for Kaduna indigents. The council was pleased, and we call on other excellencies, state governors that can afford to take over federal roads to lessen the burden on the federal government and to enable them repair roads and maintain them as quick as possible so that they don't go into total deterioration.
It's been done before. Ikorodu Road was handed over to the Lagos State government.
Yes. Under
similar circumstances. Because there's no way the people or governor of Lagos can explain to users that this is federal road. They know they want a good road. And this is a road they drive on every day. When it starts going bad, the governor takes the bashing.
In the meantime, the Federal Executive Council, also attended by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, also approved the completion of the Eastern Bypass Road, Kaduna, linking the North Central and Northwestern states of Nigeria, as requested by Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai of Kaduna State. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for presenting the 2016 budget estimate of agencies of government to the National Assembly. Our correspondent there, Ignatius Nko, also reports that members passed the sum of 241.4 billion naira 2016 budget of the FCT.
While appreciating President Muhammadu Buhari's observance to due process, especially in budgetary matters, members described him as the first elected president since 1999 to present budget estimates of agencies.
That this is the first time in the history of this parliament that this has been done.
Good is done, and I commend it. I commend it.
One of the criticisms faced by Nigeria's local government system is contained in Section 162 of the 1999 Constitution, which provides for joint accounts between states and local governments. But the House of Representatives has commenced the process of deleting the section as sponsored by Representative Afe Olowokere from Ondo State.
State governors have made themselves obstacles to the economic growth and infrastructural development at the local level. On state assemblies to please pass this very popular bill.
The federal government to install closed-circuit television cameras, CCTV, in all prisons across the country to check cases of incessant jailbreaks. Moved by Representative Anayo Nnebe from Anambra State.
Reconstruct and reinforce perimeter fences in all prison formations across the country.
Members resolved to investigate alleged collection of money by the Nigerian Peace Corps for recruitment as moved by Representative Yakubu Barde from Kaduna State. Rising on that matter of urgent public importance, Representative Abdulrazak Namdas from Adamawa State moved a motion on the urgent need for the Ministry of Labour and Productivity to check reported case of age discrimination by employers of labour
and other agencies of government, and indeed the private sector, setting ridiculously low maximum age limit as 22, 25 and 27.
A total of 49 bills passed at first reading. This include a bill for an act to amend the Niger Delta Development Commission, the Electoral Act and the Labour Law. Speaker House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara announced that the Chairman House Committee on Appropriation, Representative Abdulmumin Jibrin, has stepped down as Chairman of the committee. He announced Representative Mustafa Bala Dawaki, representing Dawakin Kudu, Warawa Federal Constituency of Kano State, as the new chairman. Meanwhile, Representative Abdulmumin Jibrin says his decision to step down is in good faith.
And my relationship with the leadership of the House will continue to remain very cordial.
He thanked the Speaker for giving him the opportunity to serve in that capacity. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still from the National Assembly comes a report that the Senate has appealed to the federal government to release the 10 billion naira appropriated in the 2016 budget for internally displaced persons in the Northeast for their relocation and resettlement. This, they say, will help address food shortages, which is the major cause of malnourishment in the camps. The report.
Garbai from Borno State moved the motion, citing reported cases of over 485,000 children under 5 years and pregnant women affected.
The Senate resolves to urge the federal government through the Ministry of Finance to immediately release necessary funds.
If something is not done urgently, will be, God forbid, be worse than the situation people found themselves in Darfur of Sudan and Juba.
The Victim Support Fund should immediately be released or applied to take care of this impending, disaster that is facing us.
I believe as a nation like ours, we must be seen definitely to be tackling this kind of thing head on.
They also called on the private sector and other donor agencies to support the government. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, was billed to brief the Senate on solutions being proffered on the state of the national economy, but had to attend the Federal Executive Council meeting.
Unfailingly, she must be here by tomorrow at the latest.
The report of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the alleged irregularities and lopsidedness of the list of ambassadorial nominees was considered.
The 47 career ambassadorial nominees were carefully selected on the basis of federal character, seniority, gender consideration, specialist relevance, a minimum of 30 months period of service before retirement and competence, except for a few that have between 18 to 29 months remaining period of service.
Our government has done a fantastic job of being fair to all.
Also considered is the report of the Committee on the FCT appropriation bill.
Committee recommend a sum of 241 billion 445 million 285,470 naira only.
The last report considered is that of the Committee on Environment on the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria. Senator Babajide Omoworare informed the Senate that students of Obafemi Awolowo University are yet at home for the past 100 days until a new Vice-Chancellor is appointed. Earlier, Senator Joshua Darie of Plateau State moved a motion on the killing of a traditional monarch of Saf Ronkulere, Lazarus Agai, and 3 others allegedly by headsmen while returning from his farm. Away from plenary, Lagos State Assembly members came visiting Senator Oluremi Tinubu in solidarity with her and advised that women be encouraged in politics, in reference to the face-off she is having with her colleague, Senator Dino Melaye.
As a Christian, I said, I've already forgiven, even the way I was treated. I'm only just standing in my space that I was given. And if my space is encroached upon, I have to fight back.
The Senate will proceed on their long vacation Thursday this week.
In the meantime, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, has given the assurance of adequate support towards a speedy rehabilitation and resettlement of IDPs in the Northeast. He described the condition of the IDPs as pathetic, requiring urgent assistance from all. The Senate President was speaking while on a working visit to Borno State. Muhammad Goni has the details.
At the nursing village, where the malnourished children and their mothers are receiving treatment, the Senate President was informed that over 1,000 malnourished children brought from Burma have already been treated and discharged. They were brought to Maiduguri for immediate medical attention and to give them food supplement, adding that a stabilization center has already been established at specialist hospital to give them the needed medical attention, including their parents and the elderly. In a remark, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, said he was happy to see the children in good condition and commended the Borno State government for catering to the needs of the children and other IDPs.
But I think that also challenges us as a country, because this responsibility is not only for Borno State. And I want to assure you that we will continue to fight, that all of us are part of government. We must feel that we are presence of government here in Borno State.
Health Commissioner Dr. Haruna Michelia said, as at the last visit to Burma, there is no case of malnourishment. Briefing newsmen, the Senate President said the bill for the creation of the Northeast Development Commission will be given accelerated hearing and passage by the Senate to pave way for early reconstruction and resettlement of the IDPs.
Lack of having a proper structure to coordinate both international donation, state donation, individual is also hampering that. So all the load is on the state government. I think there's an institution which has been mandated to do that. Then he knows that he has a responsibility.
The Senate President later condoled the Shehu of Borno and the family of late Dr. Shatima Ali Mongono. Similarly, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was also in Maiduguri to condole the people and government of Borno State over the demise of the elder statesman. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
The Plateau State Police Command has confirmed the killing on Monday evening of the traditional ruler of Bokos, Savron Kolere da Lazarus Agai, and others. State Commissioner of Police Adekunle Oladunjoye and spokesman Operation Safe Haven say the security operatives have swung into action to unravel the paramount ruler's death. Ninred Lot has the report.
The killing was said to have occurred Monday, July the 18th at about 4:30 p.m. along Shah Kulere Road, where the paramount ruler, some members of his family and aides were ambushed on their way home. The Commissioner of Police and spokesman of the Operation Safe Haven, however, say their men are on ground to repel further attacks on innocent citizens and property.
Tension presently is high, with aggrieved youths barricading road and setting bonfires. We have proceeded already to restore calm. We just want to appeal, especially to the youths and the citizens in the general area, to please remain calm. Our security agencies are working assiduously to unravel the situation.
Consider the opinion that I think federal government in conjunction with the state government have to actually move in to do a mop-up. Arms professional, arms of people, house to house search to know who and who owns what, so that security should take and recover all these arms from people.
As at the time of filing report, bodies of the paramount ruler and others killed in the ambush have been deposited at the mortuary. In Jos, Rinret Lot, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Sultan of Sokoto Alhaji Saad Abubakar III has commiserated with the Bomgom Jos and the people of Plateau State over the killing of the traditional ruler of Bokos, who was murdered on Monday evening. The Sultan, while at the palace, expressed sadness over the traditional ruler's death. Felicia Dalyop has the details.
The Sultan Alhaji Saad Abubakar III urged security agencies to fish out the perpetrators of the dastardly act, as criminality of any kind should not be tolerated. He said Plateau State has for some time now enjoyed relative peace. The Sultan therefore stressed the need for citizens of the state to shun religious sentiments, live peacefully with one another, and not relent in preaching the peace message, as no society can achieve meaningful development without peaceful coexistence.
Our unity is of paramount importance to all of us. The more united we are, the stronger we are. Let's go back to those old days where anybody can go to anywhere he wants to and live peacefully with anybody without harassment.
The Bongom Jos and Chairman Plateau State Traditional Council, Da Jacob Gyangbuba, thanked the Sultan and members of the 19th Northern States Traditional Rulers Committee on Primary Healthcare for the visit. The royal father condemned the murder of the Saffron Kulere and urged people to be security conscious, as it is the business of all.
We cannot sit down and be accusing government, be accusing this and that. We must make ourselves available in whatever capacity we can to ensure peace in all our territories and the whole country.
A minute silence was observed for the deceased traditional ruler, while prayers were offered for sustainable peace in the state. In Jos, Felicia Dalu, NTA News.
In another development, the Police High Command says it has stepped up strategies in tackling security challenges facing the country. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, said this when he paid a visit to the Director General, Department of State Security Service, Lawal Musa Daura. The Acting Inspector General of Police says part of these strategies is seeking collaboration with relevant agencies to overcome the security threats. The Director General, Department of State Security Service, Lawal Musa Daura, said they would give maximum support and cooperation to ensure the nation overcomes security challenges. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, has described the Durbar festival in northern Nigeria as one of the most cherished precious stones in the cultural crown of Nigeria. A press release by the Special Assistant to the Minister of Information and Culture, Segun Adeyemi, indicates that the minister said this at the inauguration of the exhibition Durbar in northern Nigeria at the UNESCO headquarters in the French capital, Paris. Alhaji Muhammad welcomed the initiative that led to the exhibition, saying the coincidence between the aim of the exhibition and some other duties incumbent on the Ministry of Information and Culture is by no means an accident, but dedication to culture in all its facets. The exhibition was also attended by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, the Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sanusi, and the Nigeria's permanent representative to UNESCO, Ambassador Mariam Katagum. You can watch this news live online on the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still ahead on News Extra, African leaders endorse the Buhari administration's programs, and back home, federal legislators stand their ground, saying they are innocent of allegations of sexual impropriety. Do stay with us.
You hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Does your antiseptic liquid kill the germs that cause flu, diarrhea, typhoid? Dettol does. Dettol provides 10 times more protection versus leading competition. So why take a risk with your loved ones?
Dettol Mom. She only trusts Dettol antiseptic liquid to kill 100 illness-causing germs, and it's recommended for cuts and scrapes. Worry less and love more. Don't just be any mom, be a Dettol mom. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Glow is in the air. It's data. It's what you use every time you download music. It's what streams movies. It's what the banks use to check your account.
It's the very lifeblood of modern living. Data. And where does it all come from? According to industry sources, more and more of it came from here. They acknowledge that Glow is now the largest data network in Nigeria. With your own Glow One submarine cable linked seamlessly to tens of thousands of kilometers with your own fiber optic cable. Glow can provide a huge data capacity anywhere at a more flexible and affordable price than anyone. It's simple. So you see, Glow is in the air. It's everywhere. Say hello to the Grandmaster.
Join Glow to jollificate with 8 times the value on every recharge, plus free data to give. Every recharge allows data and voice.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
If you work hard and sow, you deserve a good harvest. That's only fair. If you study hard, you deserve good grades. That's only fair. If you train hard, you deserve to win the prize. That's only fair. If you work hard as an employee, you should have something to show for it. That's only fair. At Premium Pension, we understand it's what you put in that guarantees a secure future. Talk to us today about your pension plan. Premium Pension. The future starts now.
The rector of the largest polytechnic in sub-Saharan Africa, Kaduna Polytechnic, Dr. Mohammed Bello Ibrahim, FCSN, welcomed the general public to its 32nd Combined Convocation and Diamond Jubilee ceremonies. Date 25 July 2016. Time 10 a.m. Venue Convocation Square, Kaduna Polytechnic Main Camp. Distinguished guest of honor, His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, Visitor to the Polytechnic and Honorable Minister of Education, Chief Host, Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Chairman of the occasion, Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Education, Announcer Zayano Aiku Kashika, Registrar.
A hectic lifestyle or overeating can cause a burning pain in your chest. That's heartburn. Take Gaviscon. One dose relieves in 3 minutes to soothe the pain of heartburn. It goes straight to the source to work for hours, providing long-lasting relief.
That's why I recommend Gaviscon.
I recommend Gaviscon. Gaviscon, fast relief you can actually feel.
If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
We are here to serve, and indeed, Nigerians will get the service they have longed for and which they rightly deserve.
The leader today that we have in Nigeria is one the world has been waiting for. Nigeria is seen in a new and a different, very positive light.
With what President Muhammad Buhari is doing, our economy will be strong and resilient to withstand the shocks.
He wants the best for this nation. We want the best for this nation. Our aspirations should be to put this country first, and together we shall make progress.
If we don't believe in our own country, nobody will believe in our own country. So we must make sure that we continue with the trajectory. We don't want to make a mistake of the past.
This president has a singular opportunity to make that difference because the whole country is behind him.
And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we will come out stronger and more united than ever.
Thank you for being there. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has assured Nigerians of the federal government's commitment to the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, into law. He gave the assurance while addressing the National Stakeholders Summit on Legislative Framework for Petroleum Industry Reform in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye has the details.
Chairing this final day of the summit, which was at the instance of the House of Representatives, the Vice President listened to the submissions of community leaders, interest groups and oil and gas sector representatives on key issues pertaining to the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill. At the forefront of these was the expediency of its passage, with emphasis on having separate bills to reflect the needs and considerations of host communities and the fiscal aspect.
We are very happy that the Vice President is here today. And the National Assembly is trying at least to fulfill that section of the provision of the Constitution that says whatever that is happening in the oil industry, it is the National Assembly that will take the lead.
I really want this PIB to take into cognizance the issue of restoration fund.
The one that is most urgent now that I want to recommend to be taken out and passed very quickly is the Nigerian Host Community Bill.
The Vice President is optimistic that the analysis paralysis syndrome that has bedeviled the country will be a thing of the past. He said the proposal of the government is to have 3 pieces of legislation.
The proposal to have the Petroleum Industry Reform Bill, which will deal with governance and regulatory issues for upstream, midstream and downstream, and for not just for oil but also gas. Then the Petroleum Fiscal Reform Bill, which will address fiscal reform and all its ramifications. And then the Petroleum Revenue Management Bill, which addresses the utilization of petroleum revenue.
Professor Osinbajo also agreed with the submissions about host communities.
I am fascinated by the idea of a host community bill as a separate bill. And I think that even from the point of view of signaling, that would be important. Because clearly, a lot of agitation, especially around the treatment of host communities, environmental issues, issues of what host communities are entitled to and not entitled to, will probably be dealt with, and I think it's wise to deal with it in legislation.
He talked about the age-old problems that have hindered progress in the country and how these must be checked.
We must not be shy of holding people to account for what has gone wrong in the industry.
The Vice President assured Nigerians of the executive's commitment to working in close synergy with the National Assembly to ensure the passage in good time of the bill. In Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
In a related development, participants at the just concluded forum on the Petroleum Industry Bill expressed high expectations about the nation securing and sustaining its drive to utilize the abundant gas potentials of the nation for adequate electricity generation. Hamza Musa Makarfi tells us more.
In the Petroleum Industry Bill, PIB, for Nigeria's power sector, participants say PIB is all-encompassing in the enhancement of exploration and exploitation of the nation's petroleum sector. But in PIB also are prospects for the development of gas supply, tackling restiveness and its effects on vandalism of infrastructure, as well as related issues which have direct impact on electricity supply to the nation.
What are all the problems that have been militating against the efficiency of this sector? Why are we having blown up pipes Why are they shutting down our refineries? Why? What is the problem? Why our refineries cannot be repaired?
Which is one of the concepts we had in this workshop, what we call benefit sharing, benefit to the host community, benefit to government, benefit to investors. And when we get to that point, you have benefit. Why would you destroy what you have benefit from? It's only when you think that you have something is being taken, you don't have no benefit, meaning that you don't have stake, no absolute stake. That's when you can resort to violence.
If these young people have been adequately and properly educated, well exposed, and taken to the appropriate places where they will have livelihood and things to do, they will not be engaged in militancy and blowing up pipes. And that's the point that has been made. It's a problem that we're trying to resolve and solve too late in the day.
I believe that as soon as the PIB bill is passed, all agitations, all problems about pipeline violation will cease.
My perspective is peace in the source of the gas supply. When there is peace in the source of gas supply, enough gas will be taken to the thermal station.
The engagement may have ended, but participants here are optimistic. The impact of the outcome will be profound to Nigeria's development. In Abuja, Hamza Musa Makarfi, NTA News.
In other news, the 27th Ordinary Session of the African Union has ended, with African leaders affirming their commitment to human rights and agreeing to a financing model for the sustenance of the organization. Leader of the Nigerian delegation to the summit, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, says it was a good outing for the country as efforts and programs of the Buhari administration were acknowledged by the African Union Assembly. Here is State House correspondent Jide Onifade with the details.
It seems the African leaders are on top speed towards an independent African continent, with the determination to run the AU Commission through a continent-wide tax. This is one of the model markets in Kigali, where sellers and buyers alike say they are reaping the good dividend of government's support.
It is the country order from our government, and they come and teach us how to arrange the fruits here and fruits and vegetables.
This is a tilapia from Uganda, Victoria. This is the roko fish from Rwanda.
Africa is a huge market, declared Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, and reaping the benefit of African Union will be to provide a common front in commerce and international politics. This common front is beginning by the leaders focusing on being financially independent and jointly providing security and maintaining the peace on the continent.
On peace and security, we have tremendous support from the rest of the Union. Everyone is in full support of the efforts that we've made against Boko Haram and against all the other, and against the various insurgencies and the various problems all over Africa.
At a retreat on the first day of the meeting, the African leaders deliberated on the recommendations of the panel on alternative funding of the AU Commission's activities.
Fantastic, it's gone very well. So much has happened already. We've been able to agree financing of the African Union. Also been able to agree a draft on the women's rights, human rights, that's women's rights, which is the theme of the conference, and so much has happened already.
On financing the African Union, we should be the ones to pay for activities in which everyone has a stake. And I urge us to move forward with the required political will without delay.
The summit recognizes the importance of the contributions of women to commerce and national development. Therefore, issues surrounding women development took the center stage.
Everyone endorsed a lot of the very serious effort that we've been making in that respect. The fact that we have a major program, our 500 billion Naira social intervention program, which focuses primarily on women. 1 million women who will be getting microcredit loans. It's one of the largest anywhere, certainly anywhere in Africa. And I think people do appreciate and will receive endorsements
from the Union on the efforts at social protection.
The African leaders were reminded of the need to work more on improving infrastructure and investments on human capital, warning that there is no promised land anywhere without work and strategy. In Kigali, Rwanda, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And back home here in Nigeria, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir David Lawal, says Nigerian professionals overseas remain an invaluable resource base for national development. To this end, government is committed to harnessing the potentials of the diaspora for socio-economic change in the country. Gabriel Odu reports that the Secretary to the Government of the Federation was represented by the Permanent Secretary Political Affairs. The report.
An estimated population of about 15 million Nigerians in the diaspora, remitting over $21 billion annually. It is therefore important that the 2015 Diaspora Day targets these citizens and exploits their competencies for national growth and development.
This year's conference, therefore, will focus on obtaining firm commitments from Nigerians in the diaspora, directed at solving some of our national challenges. This administration is ready to partner with Nigerians in diaspora on how they can assist, for instance, internally displaced persons in the Northeast region, on how through medical interventions they can improve healthcare delivery across the country, and on how they can assist government, the youth empowerment and employment generation.
About 300 Nigerians in the diaspora are expected at this year's Diaspora Day and Conference, scheduled for 25th to 26th July.
It could be recalled that former President Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999 established Nigerian in Diaspora Organization as an umbrella body to represent the interest of Nigerians overseas. From the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
The Joint House of Representatives Committees on Ethics and Privileges and that of Foreign Affairs have reiterated their commitment to unraveling every fact in connection with the sex scandal allegations involving 3 members of the House of Representatives in April this year. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim has the details.
Having acknowledged the letter of absence of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the non-appearance of the outgoing U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, James Entwistle, the House Committee was not deterred as it commenced the investigative hearing. After being put on oath, the accused members denied all allegations and alleged that they were not given fair hearing by the U.S. Embassy on the allegations.
Video evidence, I'm still demanding it will show our movement throughout the hotel when we're there. Too simple. Why aren't they providing it?
There was never a time anybody was in my room as a cleaner whatsoever. And what still baffled me is that as of the time I grabbed the person, what stopped the person from either screaming or even reporting back to the management, and as of the time of the report, what stopped them from coming to meet me in the room?
It is my belief and unshakable conviction that the thorough work of this committee will shed more light on the issue and reveal the facts, and at the end throw up the truth so our fellow Nigerians may know that the story is not as told.
Some members of the Joint Committee also interrogated the accused members based on their submissions on the matter.
Was there a head of delegation of this group? And if there was no head of delegation, what was the mode by which the one member who met with the Nigerian ambassador met with him? And where did they meet?
We want to assess the issue based on what is presented. And what we want is the facts. Can they give it to us? And that's why we invited them. And then you present, and then we have an opportunity for you to interface.
Explained that the allegations are weighty and could tarnish the image of the members involved and the National Assembly and Nigeria at large. The Joint Committee assured all parties involved of fair hearing to unveil the facts of the matter. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Chairman House Committee on Public Procurement, Oluwole Oke, says the committee is not established to terrorize ministries, departments or agencies of government, but to ensure that they adhere strictly to the provision of the Public Procurement Act in all their transactions. He said this at the committee's public hearing attended by the Director General and Management of the Nigerian Television Authority. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba has the details.
Several ministries, departments and agencies have testified at the public hearing by the House Committee on Public Procurement, among which is Federal University of Technology Akure and National Population Commission.
The issues we are looking at are their infractions, are their over invoicing, are their collusion.
Director General NTA Yakubu Ibn Mohammed appreciated the works of the committee and says it goes in line with his vision for efficiency and probity.
Before my retirement from NTA in 2012, I was instrumental to the commencement of the live coverages for the plenary sessions of the National Assembly. NTA decided, as a matter of course, to cover proceedings of the National Assembly live twice a week.
We do also spend on some capital items from IGR. And the fact I don't have a percentage.
Part of the decision that was taken in ITU that all member countries should transit to digital transmission. The way we go digital, the advantage is that high quality.
More ministries, departments and agencies are scheduled to testify at the ongoing public hearing by the House Committee on Public Procurement. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
Turning to political matters now, Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole has urged the state to vote the All Progressives Congress APC candidate Godwin Obaseki as his successor in the forthcoming September 10th governorship election in order to sustain and improve political and economic growth. He made this known during the APC governorship campaign flag-off rally in Edo North. Joseph Johnson reports.
Governor Oshiomhole described Obaseki as an intelligent, resourceful and energetic personality who distinguished himself over the years. He expressed the belief that he will work tirelessly in delivering the mandate and confidence reposed in him.
I believe having worked together for 7.5 years, I'm able to say to Edo people, this man will deliver to you. He will do better than I've done because he will avoid my mistakes and he will strengthen where we are strong. He will elevate, take Edo to the next level. He will refocus on agriculture. He will refocus on industry. He will, of course, sustain the drive for infrastructure.
The APC governorship candidate Godwin Obaseki said his responsibility, if voted into power, will include bringing investors to the state and providing an enabling environment for businesses to thrive, among others.
One key infrastructure which we will bring to support our youth to create business will be internet. We will bring broadband to Edo State.
Other speakers also enjoined the people of Edo State to support Godwin Obaseki as the APC standard bearer. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress APC has urged its aspirants vying for the party's tickets in the forthcoming APC primary preparatory to the Ondo State governorship election to see themselves as family members rather than opponents. National Organizing Secretary of the party, Osita Izunaso, said this while issuing nomination and expression of interest forms to Senator Ajayi Borofis. Ismail Musa has the details.
The Edo governorship election fixed for 10th September. Attention of the National Governing Party is also focusing on the Ondo governorship election slated for 26 November. Consequently, as Senator Borofis picks the forms, APC National Organizing Secretary has this to say.
He will advise their supporters to know that party primaries is a family affair. It is not the main thing yet. So don't fight. There's no violence. Just go and cast your vote for the person that you believe in.
Speaking to journalists thereafter, The governorship aspirant, Senator Ajayi Boroface, promised to create alternative sources of revenue for Ondo State.
And make sure that whatever we have in the state is used further for the development of the state. We can develop a very buoyant economy, especially the coastal economy.
Two other aspirants, Bode Ayorinde and Jumoke Ajasin Onufowoshe, have also picked the forms. In another development, Lagos State Assembly members, led by the Deputy Speaker, Wasiu Oshilokun, met the leadership of the party behind closed doors to express their displeasure over the recent incident between Senators Oluremi Tinubu and Dino Melaye in the National Assembly. From the APC National Secretariat Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Bauchi State chapter of Vanguard for Peace and Tranquility has staged a peaceful rally declaring support for President Muhammadu Buhari and condemning the recent impeachment initiative against him. Babayo Tafida Misau reports that they also criticized activities of some National Assembly members from the state.
Members of the group led by its chairman Nuru Zunguru accuse the state representatives at the National Assembly for the support in the impeachment threat on President Muhammadu Buhari. They said it is sad the representatives of the people are betraying the confidence reposed on them, hence the need for them to support the President Muhammadu Buhari's effort of restoring the image of the country, adding that there is the need for them to change before the electorate will be forced to exercise their constitutional rights as provided under Section 69 A and B of the 1999 Constitution.
To call the concerned representative to order before we exercise our democratic constitutional right of recalling our representative as inherent under Section 69A and B of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Receiving the letter for onward delivery, the State Governor Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar assured to deliver the message to those concerned and call on the affected members to be submissive to the yearnings and aspirations of their electorates by being true representatives of the people.
I appreciate your main reason for coming to Government House this morning. Your reason is your concern as the good people of Bauchi State who turned out en masse to elect General Muhammadu Buhari as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The group had earlier paid similar visit to the Emir's Palace and the Bauchi State House of Assembly on the same mission. In Bauchi, Babeta Fidemiso, NTA News.
Former chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Chief Tony Aneni, has tasked the chairman of the party's National Caretaker Committee, Senator Ahmad Makarfi, to dissuade the PDP caucus in the National Assembly from participating in the alleged ill-advised adventure of impeaching President Muhammadu Buhari from office. Chief Aneni said the time is neither right nor the reasons compelling enough to contemplate such a misadventure. He urged him to personally lead the process of consultation with PDP members in the National Assembly with a view to getting them to play a patriotic rather than partisan role in this time of national economic and social uncertainty. Chief Aneni explained that he was constrained to write the letter due to his love for the country and his long years of involvement in the pursuit of peace, coexistence, and national development. The wife of the president has launched the Get Involved component of the Future Assured program designed to provide solutions to problems of malnutrition among children in the country. At a brief ceremony today in Abuja, Mrs. Buhari noted that the alert on malnutrition, especially at the IDP camps, will be addressed if parents administer fortified milk to malnourished children to improve their health. In a statement signed by the Director Media to the wife of the President, Zakaria Nadabo, Mrs. Buhari urged Nigerians to imbibe the culture of feeding their children with appropriate food using best child feeding practices to improve their health status. She called on well-meaning Nigerians to support the campaign for improved nutrition among children to address possible ailments that could retard their growth. The federal government is developing relevant diving guidelines and regulations to curb fatal accidents arising from diving activities in the water. The decision was taken in Abuja at a meeting involving the National Association of Professional Divers and the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige. Labour correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro has the details.
The leaders of the National Association of Professional Divers said there are cases of people missing in water, particularly divers in the oil and gas industry, energy, construction and marine, without investigation and records of death, illnesses or accidents, which is making the profession to lose its relevancy and even employment of new divers.
There must be an effort by Nigeria and Nigerians to establish institutions, establish safety, establish standard, and make it work.
Labour Minister Chris Ngige strongly believes that regulation of diving activities is key and that the ministry will do everything possible to fast-track appropriate guidelines.
The message is that we should get a regulatory body to regulate and say who is a diver. We regulate and also issue certificates in diving.
The Occupational Safety and Health Department of the Ministry is to study the draft diving regulations and review it to be in tandem with the codes of practice in the diving profession. In Abuja, Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
The road transport sector accounts for over 75% of the general mobility requirement in Nigeria. Nigerian roads as arteries for development have been experiencing high traffic density and accidents, leading to regrettable loss of lives. In this report, Aliu Tokur looks at the role of the Federal Road Safety Corps over the last 2 years in curbing the trend and technology for motorist safety.
Roads play a significant role to any nation's socio-economic development. With about 200,000 kilometers road network, no doubt this puts Nigeria among the countries with largest road network in the south of the Sahara. However, accidents have become a recurring phenomenon constituting menace. Although going by statistics, accidents have dropped by 15% from 2014 to 2015 and by 14% from 2015 to 2016 and still counting. But yet the Federal Road Safety Corps feels there is need to do more. Most of these accidents are said to be caused by overspeeding, dangerous driving, tire blowout and poor road network among others. To curb the trend, the Corps over the last 2 years introduced various measures which include the introduction of speed limit device on commercial vehicles, establishing more unit commands and outposts across the country, training of its personnel and public drivers, procuring more operational vehicles to meet the increasing demand, as well as more public enlightenment campaigns.
We had a special patrol on tire safety. We have Operation Scorpion Phase 1 to 4 to combat unlatched containers. We have had joint special patrol operations to decongest Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
You will find them across all the strategics throughout the country, making sure that the vehicles move according to lay down speed limitation.
The Corps has also achieved much more in road management through the introduction of information and communication technology in its operation.
All the officers and men you see on the highways were no longer using the manual type of ticketing or booking of traffic offenders. We use e-tablets. It gives us data of traffic offenders in the country.
In the last 2 years, we set up the signage. The idea of the signage is to give motorists a lot of information while you drive. If you look at the routes now, you hardly find signs in some places. So we're engaging road construction companies and so on.
For the co-marshal who promised to give the co an uplift, it has been a fruitful 2 years, though these are not without challenges.
From the beginning of this year, 34 of my personnel have been knocked down and some killed in the course of doing their work, and some of our offices were vandalized. We're having challenges with Dangote, but they're very responsive to our request. They're now recruiting fresh drivers, and we're assisting them in removing the obstructions.
No doubt, for motorists and other road users, it is an endless appreciation, but also there is the need to do more, and fixing the roads like this one is part of it. In Abuja, Aliu Tuku, NTA News.
Do stay with us here on News Extra. Up ahead is business news and more developing stories on our News Extra desk. Join us again.
A famous boxer once said, "The fight is won long before you step into the ring." It takes massive investment, dedication, planning, and during fierce competition, never backing down. In 2005, Glo invested in the world's only privately owned undersea data cable, then connected this to its extensive fiber optic network throughout Nigeria, which seamlessly delivers flexible and affordable data plans for everyone, making Glo Nigeria's largest data network in new subscriptions. You see, it's not what you step into the ring with that makes you the master. It's everything you did to get you there. Enjoy our new data overload. Double your data on every plan, like 6 gigabytes for 2,000 naira, 12 gigabytes for 3,000 naira, and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 naira. Dial star 777 hash to select a plan. The largest data network, Glo, Grandmasters of Data.
I feel weak, body pains, feverish, and dizzy.
But be sure to verify its authenticity. Make sure you check that it's original by scratching the code panel to reveal a set of code numbers. Text the unique number to a short code 38351, confirming the authenticity of the P-Alaxin anti-malarial drug. SMS text is free and available to all networks. P-Alaxin always defeats malaria.
In line with President Buhari's economic diversification policy, that's why we invested over 4 billion naira in the hands of our farmers for more economic development.
The board and management of Erisco Foods Limited, as a follow-up to the commissioning of its tomato paste innovation by Her Excellency Hajia Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, invited following distinguished Nigerians to witness Erisco Foods Limited new innovation tomato processing technology, first of its kind, converting dried tomatoes and fresh into tomato paste in December 2016 and for export in 2017. Special guest of honor, Babashir David Lauro, Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Other guests of honor include Minister for Agriculture, Minister for Science and Technology, Minister for Finance, Minister for Works, Housing and Power, Minister of Budget and National Planning, and other patriotic Nigerians that are interested in moving Nigeria forward to produce what we need and eat what we have. Date, Friday 22nd of July 2016. Venue, Erisco Industrial Complex, Plot 2, Oyeleke Street, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos. Time, 11 a.m. Announcer, Chief Eric Umiofia Ikukwoma Amici.
Darling, what's the matter? It's your birthday. Guests are already waiting at the pool.
It's headache, cold, pains all over my body.
Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet and its powerful ingredients specially prepared to bring you fast relief from headache, body ache, cough, flu, cold, and fever. Baby, how are you feeling now?
Wow, I feel great thanks to Cold Time Tablet.
Cold Time Tablet also available in syrup for children. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, a quality product from Embassy Pharmaceutical and Chemicals Limited. Cold Time Anti-Cold Tablet, your visa to healthy living.
Xiaomi M5 Plus with a 50-20 milliampere battery that lets you play for up to 3 days on a single charge. Xiaomi M5 Plus, always in power.
Hello again, and thank you for being there. More funds on the way for operators of small businesses in the country as Bank of Industry signs Memorandum of Understanding with EcoBank PLC. Also, strategic plan to making Nigerian Content Intervention Fund accessible to operators in the oil and gas industry, endorsed by the Bank of Industry and the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. Details on our business news segment with Amechi Pius.
Hello and thanks for joining us on Business News. An arrangement aimed at making the Nigerian Content Intervention Fund easy to access has been endorsed by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board and the Bank of Industry. The two institutions signed a Memorandum of Understanding in Lagos in that regard. And this is part of efforts by the board to ensure that only genuine local operators in the oil and gas industry benefit from the fund.
We are more worried than the people because people began to see us as bankers, which is actually not the truth, and that is the reason why we had to change the trajectory, the modus operandi, and we had to engage the Bank of Industry, who have the relevant experience in disposing this kind of funds.
The whole idea is to increase local investment and build capacities of operators, as well as create job opportunities and wealth for the nation. The Nigerian Content Intervention Fund is a pool by operators made available by the board at a single-digit interest rate to fund activities in that industry. Under the arrangement, the Bank of Industry will serve as custodian and manager of the $1 million provided by the board and disburse same, given its expertise in credit appraisal and financial management.
We know the importance of services to the operators in the oil and gas sector, and we know that special skills are required. We keep fine-tuning the skills of our staff in anticipation of the requirements of our entrepreneurs, so we are proactive.
And in another development, the Bank of Industry has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with EcoBank PLC to provide investable funds and technical support to small and medium enterprises, SMEs, in Nigeria. The partnership will focus on developing and supporting projects capable of creating thousands of job opportunities. Both institutions will leverage on the Bank of Industry's knowledge in the management of SMEs and the broad network of EcoBank in Africa to provide investable funds and capacity for small businesses.
We will collaborate in terms of supporting SMEs because they require a lot of support. They require a lot of hand-holding, right? And in terms of development orientation and development focus, EcoBank we've discovered to be among the most development-focused banks in the country. So that's why we're taking this partnership to another level.
SMEs have been largely underestimated in terms of their contribution to the GDP. We think you have a key role to play in supporting these SMEs. More importantly, that we can support them in their growth at the time.
The framework signed by the financial institutions is primarily to provide financial services to SME at concessionary rates. And that's Business News. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much indeed, Amechi. Moving on now, the Minister of Communication, Adebayo Shitu, has called for a more proactive regulation of the telecommunication industry towards better service delivery. The minister said this when he visited the headquarters of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, in Abuja. Let's get more on this from Ruben Okala.
Latest GSM subscriber statistics show that Nigeria now has over 200 million active lines. Though the growth could be described as astronomical, the industry is, however, witnessing anomalies being perpetrated by telecom operators. These include drop calls, unsolicited text message, fraudulent deductions, and general poor quality of service.
Telcos, with regard to their corporate social responsibility, I think there's need, if there's not yet any such officer, there should be an officer who should really monitor, corporate social responsibility of these telcos, because it should be a very major component of what we are doing.
The communication minister, however, commended the executive vice chairman of NCC for various innovations aimed at improving quality of service. The NCC executive vice chairman, Professor Gabra Umar Dambata, says the commission remains committed to improving quality of service.
This commission has capacity to measure for all operators, and wherever they are providing the telecommunication service, we can be able to identify the operator providing the service, as well as measure that drop call.
The NCC boss also called on telecom operators to live up to expectation of their teeming subscribers. In Abuja, Ruben Okala, NTA News.
The chairman, Senate Committee on Gas, Albert Akpan, has promised that the 8th Senate will work to protect the interest of Nigerians under the joint venture between the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, and Chevron. He said this at an interactive session with the management team of NNPC over a project that was approved in 2001. Here is National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba with the details.
Recall that there was a referral of a motion adopted by the Senate that the Committee on Gas look into the dispute between NNPC and Chevron Nigeria. The two parties have a joint venture which involved two projects, the Excravos Gas Gathering Project and the Excravos Gas to Liquid Project.
Project that was approved for $1.2 billion in 2001, revalued for $2.9 billion in 2005, was completed in 2014 at the whooping sum of $10.3 billion. Of course, it calls the question.
The gas to liquid project, the price has varied, and NNPC decided to not to approve what Chevron is requesting. And
Group Managing Director, NNPC, told the committee that they will put in their best to move the industry forward.
We saw that Chevron was going out its mandate on fighting the project from EPC to lump sum to reversible. They decided to pull out.
In order to mitigate the risk, NNPC agreed on the 25% Chevron and the partner was providing alternative funding.
The chairman of the committee, Albert Basi Akpan, who said they will get to the bottom of the matter, emphasized that the main purpose is to secure and enhance the collective interest of the Nigerian nation. From the National Assembly, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
1 truck and 7 vans loaded with crude oil suspected to be adulterated diesel have been impounded by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Edo State Command. The commandant said this while parading the suspects before journalist Philomena Ogbebo has the details.
The illegal diesel was loaded in 25 liters of jerry cans, numbering over 200 and stocked in the truck and vans. The suspects say they bought the product from Obazagmo in Uode and Gelegele in Ovia Northeast local government areas of the state. The suspects speak on their level of involvement.
I buy and make I see money, na money I dey find, I make me buy.
I be conductor to this truck, and this is my first time of following them.
So I don't get which I want to talk. I'm totally confused.
The commandant, Mr. Akuburo, says following intelligence report, his men went on surveillance of the area, which led to the arrest of the suspects.
What we now discover is that when they load like these containers you see here, they load them and go to empty them in a truck. So that's the method, that is the latest method they're using. But we are really on track, we are following them, and we are doing our best to make sure that we get them arrested and prosecuted.
This brings to 6 the number of arrests made by Edo State Command of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps on adulterated diesel. In Benin, Philomena Ogbebo, NTA News.
And for a bit on gender matters, when the National Council of Women's Societies was formed in 1958, it was to chart the course for gender development and women empowerment. 58 years down the line, what are the gains and challenges in the actualization of the struggle for women's empowerment? Talatu Ezirike tells us more.
The struggle for Nigerian women emancipation and freedom could be traced back to the 1929 Aba Women's Riot, when women protested the colonial administration's attempt to introduce tax. This journey, many believed, gave rise to the formation of women's societies like the National Women Union in 1949 by Funmilayo Ramson Kuti, and much later the National Council of Women's Societies in 1958 to meet the yearnings of women for empowerment, governance and gender equality.
I can remember Hadia Gambo Sawaba. She was almost killed because of women. They were not interested in money. They wanted something for the women.
The councils, in its developmental drive and as the umbrella body for all women organizations, pushed for the creation of the Ministry of Women Affairs to consolidate women's development, especially at the grassroots.
We are enjoying the women empowerment because even in the other states, you could see women that they have empowered, even training, and something doing.
Over the years, the council has enjoyed goodwill and better deals from various governments, though not without challenges.
If we have to talk about women who come out to contest elections, intimidations are there, problem of finances.
We enjoyed the last regime and we are going to enjoy more with government of Harry.
So as the council comes of age at 58, the watchword many say is rise above the challenges. Talatu Ezirike, NTA News.
Well, Nigerian women have sure come a long way since 1958. Now, stay with us on News Extra. We've got lots more after the break. Join us again.
Xiaomi M5 Plus with a 50-20 milliampere battery that lets you play for up to 3 days on a single charge. Xiaomi M5 Plus, always in power.
What happened? It was a mosquito. Oh! Oh! Daddy, here!
What's happening here?
Mama, mosquitoes.
I sprayed, but the mosquitoes aren't dying. No longer, because I've bought Motain Power Guard, which kills 100% mosquitoes. Motain Power Guard kills 100% mosquitoes.
The production, distribution and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back to News Extra. Now to some cheering news on environment matters. Remediation of communities affected by lead poisoning in Rafi local government area of Niger State has begun. Dauda Muhammad reports that the contract for the remediation awarded by the Federal Ministry of Environment at the cost of 250 million naira is expected to be completed in 2 months.
Tungankawo and Ongwamegeru, two communities of Shekira village in Rafi local government area of Niger State, were affected by lead poison due to the activities of artisanal miners, which caused the death of 28 children, with an almost equal number also treated after showing signs of infection. Remediation of the affected communities was proposed, which will involve the evacuation of affected topsoil in the communities and replacing with new soil so as to rid the environment of all contaminants. This area here used to be a mine site where gold was being mined by the villagers here. The activity has seriously affected their community through lead poison. But now it has turned to be a dump site where the affected soil from their villages and surrounding communities are being dumped and later to be covered up.
Treatment is not the solution. Remediation is not the solution. The solution at the end of the day is safer mining program.
In our memorandum of understanding, they have relocated to that place, and then they have trained already our own staffs. And unless it becomes one that is extremely serious, that they may still send to Zamfara. But if it was right now at the General Hospital Kagara, all cases are being treated there.
This is quite historic and exciting, and we've seen that remediation is ongoing, and we're seeing the judicious use of these funds, and so far we can say the government, or specifically the Ministry of Environment, has been transparent and accountable.
For members of the community, the remediation is a welcome development, but are appealing for more social amenities.
We need
help with borehole, seed money for business and drugs for our sick children.
We thank God that government is clearing our environment, but we need additional borehole for water and functional healthcare center and bigger school.
Though the remediation is expected to be completed in 2 months, challenges of frequent rain and planted crops in some affected areas can elongate the completion time, as the crops have to be harvested before the soil can be remediated. From Shakira, Rafi local government area of Niger State, Dauda Muhammad, NTA News.
Thank you very much indeed, Dauda Muhammad. Safer mining practices is the way to go to prevent lead poisoning in other places. You are still watching News Extra. Next happenings around the world plus sports update, all in just a moment. Join us again.
Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
I am counting stars. I am reaching for them. I'm unstoppable. I am you. Together we are every lap, every finish line, every possibility. Together we can change the world.
Thank you for being there. On the foreign scene, South Sudan warns African Union against deploying peacekeepers to the country without government's approval. And United Kingdom Prime Minister Theresa May holds talks with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, says official negotiations to leave the European Union cannot begin this year. Let's get more on Global Tidbits with Ronke Kolawole.
Several organizations from Nigeria, Burundi and Kenya have clinched UN AIDS Red Ribbon Awards for impacting on reducing the spread of HIV/AIDS. The winning countries were presented with their prizes in a special session at the Global Aid Summit in Durban, South Africa. Meanwhile, the World Food Programme has launched an emergency appeal for countries affected by drought in Southern Africa region. The more than $200 million appeal fund is targeted at purchasing food to help about 80 million people in the region. Still in Africa, Cameroonians have expressed mixed reactions over the credibility of a recent investigation report by rights organization Amnesty International, in which the country's military was accused of gross violations of human rights in its fight against the terrorist group Boko Haram. Away from Africa, 99 generals and admirals have been formally charged in connection with last weekend's failed coup attempt in Turkey. The generals are believed to form a significant chunk of the country's military top brass. Elsewhere, the U.S. Justice Department plans to seize more than $1 billion in assets as part of its investigations into Malaysia's state fund known as IMDb. Set up in 2009 by Prime Minister Najib Razak, IMDb was meant to turn Kuala Lumpur into a financial hub. For Global Tidbits, Runke Kolawole, NTA News.
As the world awaits the commencement of the 2016 Rio Olympics next month, Nigerians are assured of the athletes winning medals for the country at the World Sporting Fiesta. Talatu Ezerike reports that this was the standpoint of some discussants on NTA Tuesday Live on the nation's state of preparedness for the Olympics.
Following Nigerians' poor performance at the 2012 London Olympics, analysts say doubts are high on whether the athletes will do anything different at the 2016 Rio Olympics that comes up in less than 16 days' time. The fears are not unconnected with the usual setbacks like poor preparations, poor funding and inadequate campaign for the sporting fiesta. But there are strong assurances of mechanisms to get it right.
Decided to redirect our energy to grassroots sports development. Because what we have today, most of them will face out with this Olympic. Government should be involved in setting the enabling environment and let the private sector drive sports. And I think this will take us to the issue of sports endowment fund.
After our failure in London, a retreat was arranged. What happened to that plan that was approved from the retreat? Monies released for that plan. What happened to it? Because if all those things were in place, we are not going to be trying to patch up what we need to do.
For others, the 2016 Rio Olympics is time for aggressive investment under the project Nigeria House.
As the athletes are on the field, Nigeria, the house is going to be open for investors to come and discuss business potentials in the country.
One thing I know for sure is give an athlete an enabling environment, support system, and they will go to Mount Everest and back for you.
Nigeria is expected to win medals, hockey, table tennis and other sporting events.
There are no miracles in this kind of sports. As I stand here, I can conveniently picture what is likely to happen and the areas if we're going to have semblance of medals.
But can we realistically sit down here and say Nigeria is not prepared at all? No. Wrestling has never ever in our history won a medal at the Olympics. I would want to change that.
So as the clock ticks to the D-Day, President Muhammadu Buhari urges the Nigerian contingent to be disciplined, focus and win medals that must be won clean. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
We have more sports news with Amanzi Marcus.
As Nigerians continue to ponder in anger over the appointment or non-appointment of Paul Le Guen as technical advisor of the Super Eagles, the NFF Executive Committee said it is working towards finding a solution. Following last Monday's announcement of Paul Le Guen as technical advisor of Nigeria's Super Eagles, a lot of issues came up a day after the announcement. And at the Nigeria Football Federation Secretariat in Abuja is the General Secretary of the football ruling body in Nigeria, Muhammad Sanusi.
The coach said he is not ready to accept any condition and he will not stay in Nigeria. And therefore, the board of the Nigeria Football Federation is going to meet and discuss the issue in a few hours' time.
The Nigerian Wrestling Federation has chosen 7 wrestlers to represent the country at the Rio 2016 Olympics. They comprise 5 women and 2 men.
The players are ready to come home with medals, but as a coach, I believe in them.
Because the president of Nigerian Wrestling Federation has been a very serious man in the game, been as an Olympic gold medalist. He knows what it takes to become an Olympic champion. So he has given us all what we will come up to make it in Olympics.
In tennis, Rafael Nadal has become the latest high-profile tennis player to withdraw from next week's Rogers Cup in Toronto. Andy Murray and Roger Federer have already announced that they will miss the tournament in order to race ahead of the Olympic Games, leaving Novak Djokovic as the only member of the world's top 4 set to compete. Nadal revealed that he is not yet fit enough to return to action, having been forced to pull out of the French Open and Wimbledon with a wrist injury. Nadal is a 3-time champion at the Rogers Cup, most recently winning in 2013. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Which way the weather? Let's take a look.
Thanks for staying tuned. Here is a weather update from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. For those of you living around Katsina, Sokoto and Yelwa axis, do expect widespread thunderstorms. Chances are that Gombe, Bauchi, Lafia, Jos, parts of Abuja, down to the Mambila axis will experience morning rains, including the eastern half of the south, while other areas will remain cloudy. As the day progresses, the stretch of the extreme north should watch out for localized thunderstorms, while respite and activities are expected over some parts of the central states, with localized thunderstorms around Yelwa, Mina, Abuja, down to Ilorin axis. As for the southern half of the country, rains are anticipated. I am Imara Joyce and Chom. Do stand by for the temperature forecast.